Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Skyler with Utah Seniors Home Search. Today, I am bringing you the 5 things that you need to know if you're going to buy a 55-plus community. There are a lot of moving pieces and a lot of differences between a community like this, an age-restricted 55-plus community, versus a normal community with a normal HOA or a single-family home with no HOA, things that you need to know and understand before you buy. So I'm going to give you the 5 things. I'm excited to bring you this information. Before I do that, my name's Skyler. I help seniors downsize out of their single-family homes into 55-plus communities where there's less stairs, no stairs, hopefully, less maintenance and no yard maintenance, working together for a stress-free and easy retirement. That's what I do. I love when people call me from my channel. I love when people call me from my website and ask for help. This is what I do all day, every day. So if you or someone you love is in this situation, I would love to be a resource to you. I would love to help. So give me a call. My number is on the screen. It's also in the video description. You can call me, you can text me, and I would be happy to point you in the right direction. So let's get going on these 5 things that you need to know, starting with number 1. So the first thing that you need to know when moving into a 55-plus community, you need to understand the lifestyle and the amenities that are offered by the community. Not all 55-plus communities are created equal. There are some that are very light on the amenities. There are some that are really, really heavy on the amenities. And each one of those different 55-plus communities and different levels of service and amenity are accompanied by different fees and different rules and regulations. So as a home buyer, it's really important that you understand going in what you want in a 55-plus community, what things are most important to you, what lifestyle preferences that you have, activity preferences, socializing preferences, because each different community will vary as to what they provide. Some of the more common amenities with 55-plus communities are clubhouses, fitness centers, walking and biking trails, rooms for hobbies and crafts. A lot of them now have pickleball courts and golf simulators even. I've seen other sports and recreation facilities that lend to the active senior lifestyle. Most of these 55-plus communities have a social component. They have senior programming where people can get together, they can do different activities, club and interest groups, group exercises, classes, different special events, seminars where people come in. So it'd be important to understand as well the social component of the 55-plus community that you're buying into, understanding how much of that you want, and making sure that the community that you're buying will cater to those needs and those desires. Another thing that would be important to understand with respect to the lifestyle and amenities offered by the 55-plus communities are the tailored services available in each 55-plus community. Some 55-plus communities have different transportation services, some have concierge services, and some have health and wellness programs. And again, we've talked about the social programming to get people together. So there are just a lot of different nuances to each individual 55-plus community. Some of the newer built 55-plus communities are really focusing on that sense of community, where maybe some of the older communities, at least specifically here in Utah, have been lighter on the amenities and have really focused just on single-level living, no stairs, and yard maintenance, snow removal. So if that's all that you want, there are plenty of options. If you want more of a community environment where you can get together with your neighbors, get to know people who are in the same stage of life, and really build that camaraderie that's often found in 55-plus communities, there are plenty of communities that have that feel and that are dedicated to that end as well. The number 2 thing that you need to know when considering buying in a 55-plus community is different financial considerations that you'll have to make. Most 55-plus communities are governed by an HOA. So one of the first things that's important to understand as a prospective home buyer is, what are your HOA dues? What do they cover? How financially strong is your HOA? And what services do they offer? What amenities are included as part of that HOA? Have the HOA fees gone up in the last couple years? And if so, at what rate? And was it warranted? And HOAs also levy what's called special assessments, oftentimes to complete larger scale projects in the community. So as a homeowner, it's important to understand what the age of the homes are. If, for example, if the HOA is responsible for roof maintenance, it's important to know when the community was built, when some of these roofs will require replacing, and if the HOA has enough in reserve to cover that. Going along with the HOA due situation, it's important for you to understand what maintenance will be required of you. 55 plus communities are set up to be maintenance free, mostly maintenance free. However, you still have some of the routine maintenance that's required on the interior of the home, oftentimes that you'll have to worry about. So using the knowledge of a licensed professional such as myself to help you look through those CC&Rs for the HOA and determine, what are they going to cover maintenance-wise on the exterior? If I have an issue with my roof, if I have an issue with my siding, if I have an issue with my AC unit, who covers it? Who takes care of it? Because those different things will vary in the codes, covenants, and restrictions, the rules and regulations of the HOA. So each community is different. Can't stress that enough. Talk to a professional. Let them help you through that. Lastly, the financial consideration that's important to think about is the resale value of the home. You've got all these different communities in lots of different areas, so it's really important to leverage, again, the knowledge of a professional that will help you determine, okay, if something bad happens to me, heaven forbid, in the next couple years, maybe there's a fall, maybe there's a situation that puts you in the hospital, or a situation that requires moving to a different level of senior care like assisted living or comprehensive long-term care, that you understand how well is this home going to do on the resale market? Is it an area that's in high demand? So talk to a professional, let a professional help you evaluate that situation, and let them help you determine whether that home is going to resell in the event that something happens quicker than maybe you anticipated. Number 3 thing to consider when moving into a 55 plus community, we've already touched on this a little bit, but it's the rules and the regulations. So everybody maybe at first listen hears rules and regulations and they go, oh man, HOAs drive me crazy. But really an HOA is put in place to help you. They're put in place to manage and maintain a high quality of life for all seniors in the community. So they may seem cumbersome, but really the end goal is to benefit and to help you feel like you're most at home and to help you thrive within the community. The most common rule and regulation, of course, in a 55 plus community is that you have to be 55 plus. Now there are exceptions to this rule. Most communities that I'm aware of in Utah have what's called an 80-20 rule. 80% of the members of the 55 plus community, the homeowners themselves, have to be 55 plus. 20% can be any age that they want to be. And then within those age restrictions, there are other nuances. So if you are a 55 plus homeowner and let's say you have a grandchild living with you, some communities won't allow minors under the age of 18, and some communities will. Other communities will allow for disabled children under the age of 18, but if there's no disability, they won't allow it. Other communities won't allow minor children, and they won't allow anyone under 55 plus to be there with the homeowner. Some communities will also only allow one individual. So again, these vary community by community. It would be really important to talk to a professional who is familiar with each individual community and who can track down that information for you. Another rule and regulation restriction that's important to consider, especially if you're a dog or cat person, you love your pets, a lot of 55 plus communities have regulations on how many you can have. So if you can't bring all 7 of your cats to the community, maybe it's a 1 or 2 pet restriction. A lot of them will have a weight restriction for pets. Probably the most common one that I see is 75 pounds or less. So that is, intended to keep out breeds that are a little more aggressive typically. And that's a really important consideration for those of you that are bringing pets into those communities. Other consideration, guest policies, how many people can stay overnight, how long they can stay overnight. And a lot of those sort of considerations are regulated by how much parking there is available. If there's limited visitor parking, a lot of the time you're going to see more stringent rules and regulations about guest policies. Another rule and regulation, exterior modifications that you're allowed to make to the property. Whether or not you can paint your door, paint your shutters, do different things to the exterior that reduce the uniformity of the community, because a lot of the time that's important to the homeowners in the community and important to the HOA, that there be a level of uniformity to keep the neighborhood looking really nice. So that's something to consider as well. If you move into the community and you think, I just don't like that door, I'd really want to paint it, you got to know whether or not you can do that. So it's great to have that exterior maintenance, but sometimes it does limit what modifications you can make to the exterior. Another rule and regulation to be aware of is community conduct. It's important to understand, the general rules of the community, the noise levels that are expected of residents, and then of course how the HOA enforces these things. Do they enforce them with fines? Do they enforce them with just written notices? It's just important to understand what are the rules, how are they going to be enforced, and then determine your ability to follow them. The number 4 thing that you need to know about and consider when moving into a 55 plus community is the proximity to healthcare services. This is one that I think gets missed over probably the most by my clients. They don't think about it because a lot of them, when they're moving into these communities, they're really active, they're really healthy, they're not as concerned about, where is this in the event of an emergency? Do I have quick access to hospitals? My primary care physician, are they close? Am I going to have to drive? Am I going to have to switch healthcare providers? These are important things to consider. So beyond healthcare, it's important to think about the other essential services that you'll need, whether that be fitness centers or public transportation, groceries, different amenities that are everyday amenities that take place outside of the walls of the 55 plus community. It's important for you to understand what your lifestyle is going to look like with respect to those amenities and their proximity. Nobody wants to drive 20 minutes, commute to go to the gym or to do different things that they're used to doing in their current single family home. So beyond the walls of the 55 plus community, really take time to consider what the outside community looks like. And finally, the number 5 thing that you need to consider when moving into a 55 plus community is the community culture and the opportunities for social engagement. A lot of different communities have a lot of different vibes. They have a lot of different feelings about them. Some are relaxed and quiet, built to just offer as much serenity and peace for the retirees as possible. Others are vibrant. Others are communities designed for those go-goers who want to have a really active retirement and maybe a little bit less peaceful retirement. So it's really important to consider, what do I want? What do you want? And to make decisions based on, make decisions about the community based on your own values in retirement and the way that you want to live. It's probably a little bit more important to consider if you're somebody that really is wanting the social and the community culture, somebody who's really wanting to interact with their neighbors and really wanting to build friendships and relationships in the community. If that's not you, it probably doesn't matter a whole lot to consider that environment unless you're paying for it. Unless there's programming that you're paying for through the HOA, it probably doesn't matter as much if you're a little on the less social side, But if you are really social, you need to make sure, if it were me, I would go to the clubhouse beforehand. I would check out and see if there's a calendar of events. I would knock on some neighbors' doors and ask questions. That's probably one of your number one resources, is asking neighbors who live in the community about the community. And of course, as your real estate professional, I'm happy to do that and go along with you. But getting a clear picture of what you're buying and how that fits with your lifestyle is probably the most important thing. And there you have it. Those are the 5 things that you need to know when you're moving into a 55 plus community. I hope if you got nothing else from this video, it's important most of all to do your homework, to understand what you want, and then to find a community that tailors itself to your specific needs and preferences. I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to be a resource to anybody who's watching this video who just needs the lowdown on 55 plus communities. 55 plus is pretty much all I do. I'm always in these communities, helping people buy and sell these communities. I've got a really good feel for each different community, specifically in the Utah and Salt Lake counties, and I can help be a resource to you and guide you in that path. So again, that's my bread and butter. I help people downsize out of single family homes and move into those communities. If you or someone that you love has that need, give me a call. My contact information's right here, also in the video description. And if you like this content, if you're looking for more senior related content that will help you determine how to manage your assets in retirement, give our channel a follow and subscribe, because we love to help seniors, is our passion. And the more that you like and comment and subscribe, the more people we can serve in this capacity. So again, thanks for watching. Hope you got something valuable out of this video, and we'll catch you on the next one.